Alright, so we're going to tie our white wire to this, to the end of this resistor, and that'll put a 1000 ohm resistor in series with the headlight, who in this particular case doesn't have any circuitry in this front button to manage that. We've got a this whole thing floats up inside of here. We're going to have to put these wires on first before we fit that. We want the switch that says smoke on and off right here. We want that switch to switch on and off the two. So we got one here, right, and we got the other one there. So let's go ahead and tie this and this together so that the two end pieces are the plus and minus coming in. So let's tie this and that together. Oh, is that what we want to do? Yeah, that puts it in series. So we don't care what color wire it is. Let's use we got a purple wire here. Okay. So the purple wire we're going to use to connect connect this and that. All right. So we're going to go around the blue wire. And if you missed it before, I drilled out these holes. But unfortunately, when you do this, you can't really get a consistent diameter. Sometimes you get lucky, like I just did there. Yes, yes, good, good, good. Getting my papers in the way of my soldering iron. That's not a good thing. Create a fire for sure. And then we'll snip a little bit of this off, and because we're just going to go around to the next. Connection or hole. Alright, so we're going to take this off. And I apologize, a lot of this is boring, but this is the nature of doing these kind of things. So let's go ahead and tin this. Now, yes, put that in the hole, right, which is the next one here. Okay, go ahead and solder that in good. There you go. So now all we've done is just connected that two together. This, these two come out, go down. Red and black. So the red and black come into this and here. So we're going to strip and tin those. I noticed that they were pinched from the factory, so we're going to try to avoid that if we can. answer. All right, so I had a phone call and got interrupted there, but what essentially I've done is I brought the red and the black wire in, which means that the smoke unit is now ready to go. It is through this switch, so this switch turns it on and off, kinda. It also has to go through the relay. Okay, the red wire has to go through the relay in order to get back, and so just by turning it on doesn't really make it work. It has to go, the relay has to be on. So we'll talk more about that and making that function work. We got the blue and white wire coming through here. We expect that maybe, just maybe, they'll be long enough. If they're not, we'll just extend them a little bit to get them to go where they belong. The white wire is not a problem because it comes up here in the front. The blue wire needs to come all the way here to the back. So we'll fight with that as we get there. We need to still put on the black and the red wire from the headlight need to go into this. So we're ready to really kind of stuff that back in there and do that, and then we'll worry about getting the screws back in this. Oh, we got, this is already here, so that's good. All right, so what do I do? Do I push this through? Yeah, okay. I'll push this through this hull, and kind of maybe move this back a little. Oop. Oh, geez. Okay, everything's falling apart here. Pushing this in here. Come on, come on. Yes, I know. Seems so easy coming out. Okay, there you go. All right, we're there. Here's the two leads for the LED. Plus goes to plus. So here's the red. It shows LED right there. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe zoom in. Well, I can't really zoom in on it. But red and black, and so we're going to put these leads in and solder them here. So red LED, right, goes here. All right, so I'll put my big head in the way here. Right there. And that's the plus. Okay. And we're going to solder that in there. Hold on. This is not a lot of fun. And some of you would say this is a living. Yeah. Tell me that again. How is this a living? I don't know. Somebody said, but you're having fun. Yeah, look at all the fun I'm having. All right. 1 out of 2. Okay, we're ready for the black one. And if you remember, I pre-drilled these. I drilled these holes out after I unsoldered them, just to make sure that I could put them back in there without too much effort, and that seems to be the case. All right, come on, get in there. And he said, you have to talk to him. Now watch what I'm doing with the soldering iron here. I'll be burning up the joint. Oh, come on. There you go. Yeah, usually I don't swear at things. It doesn't help. Yeah, so there I got that one. All right, let's tack it. Trying not to, a little bit more solder on the tip. Trying not to burn myself. Oh yeah. Okay, looks good. So All the wires are set up here. The only two I have left is the blue and white coming back from that. Let's go ahead and put our screws in here. We got a couple of screws in there, and so give me a second on that. I'll put those in and mount that. Well, okay then. We've buttoned this up the front, put the smoke unit in, got some other pieces going here. All the wires are done. I'd like to put a current keeper, which is the name of the capacitors. They go right there on that block. So let me get a current keeper out. Well, actually, we can do this without the current. Yeah, I need to make sure I've got room for it. So yeah, let me kind of get that out first. So hold on. So this is the product from Soundtraxx, the current keeper product, and I'm going to open that up and plug it in. Yes, I know I'm being too meticulous, but sometimes I got to put these things back on the shelf. I'm always trying to preserve the packaging as much as possible. Also, if you have to send something back to Soundtraxx or Digitrax or anybody else for that matter, that they'd like to see the complete package. So especially for me, if I'm going to take it back from you, I'm going to have to put it back up on the shelf. I want the complete package. The customer doesn't mind if you handle it a little. Another customer doesn't mind if you handle a little bit, but they sure don't want you to want to buy it in a beat up package. So this has got. Let's see what the instructions here say. Oh, look, just plug it in. Yeah, so they give you some things in case you have to cut it up. But in this particular case, we've just got a plug in. It just plugs right onto it, and you're done. So, yeah. 750 AT100s, and in this particular case, it's just got a plug. This goes, bink. Look. Bink. Somewhere. Not being nice to me. It's a small plug. You can see the size of my fat fingers here. The other thing is we gotta make sure it's got the right polarity on it. Oh, there it goes. Bink, just like that. Okay, so the current keeper can ride in here. We might decide that it answer. To wrap this up, the current keeper is kind of, well, it's too long to do anything here. We might be able to, look here, a little split right there. Maybe I can tuck it in there, maybe. Okay, I'm looking up on the inside of this, and it looks like we got a couple of wires from the speaker that go about right there. Yes? No? Well, it very well could lay up on top like this. Maybe I'll just do that. We'll just throw it up underneath the wires here. See if we can get it to just kind of lay there. I might want to put some tape on it, but for the time being. Okay, this These wires then have to come up inside, so does the speaker wire. So let's see if we can manipulate all of this to where it will go up inside. It might behoove us to put it on its back or whatever. Let's see if we got. We got these little curly Q wires that were creating problems for us before. Let's turn them to the front. Oh yeah, they go in the side holes there. Okay, so let's pull those all the way out. Okay. All right, now let's see if we can get this baby to hunker down inside. Not quite sure what's going on there and there. Is that it? Well, these two pieces certainly have to go up in there. Something is holding that. I don't like the way that's fitting. That should fit tighter up inside of there. So let me maybe the current keeper that's holding it. So all right. So I'm going to go have dinner and be back later. Blows it up a little bit. Okay, so I went to put it together, and as you know, that on the video, but you know that it didn't go together, and I couldn't figure out why. Right? So I looked at the old board, and doggone it, it has a hole in it. Well, if you look up in the top there, you see that there's a
screw hole.
There's a screw hole, yeah. And for whatever reason, they decided they weren't going to put screws up through the bottom of this. They actually cut them off. You can see this here, right? Would have had a hole, and this would have had a thing that went up inside it. Well, they did the same thing over here, but instead of them cutting this off, they put a hole in the board. Okay, well, that's not going to work. So I get two options, right? The option number one is put a hole in the board. No, that's not going to happen. I can components. I can move it over, right? So this board is this big, and that'll fit in that hole right there. I could actually move it this way, right, to make that happen.
Just move with it.
But so that's a relay that I put in there for the smoke unit. It's not going to move, so I would have to figure out a new place for it. And it's like, oh, what the heck? My other option is to go ahead and carve this out. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll use the Dremel. This doesn't really provide a lot of structural integrity to this, and I really only have to take about that much off of it, right? Because it almost goes in there. It's only about this much from not going in there. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off and take that down. Take these struts down a little bit, and then we'll get back. All right, we're going to try to finish this up today. Last session we were looking at the inside of this, and we noticed that there was another post right here that was interfering with it. We also noticed that the previous one actually had a hole in it. The previous board had a hole in it. So that's not going to do, and we're able then to carve out that section in here. So I've done that offline here with the little Dremel tool, and I don't like Dremels. It's not that I don't like Dremel or the Dremel company or anything like that. I don't like a lot of automatic tools that you can miss and make marks and that kind of stuff. So I'm very careful with them. I've got a nice one. I just bought a new one. But the point is that this is gone now in this section, and the two little veins, I could cut some more out of those if necessary, but where they end up is about right here. If you see this end is flush here, that puts these veins right about here. That's going to be all right. It's going to pinch these wires down a little bit, and shouldn't be a problem. But if it becomes a problem, I'll just cut these veins out. They don't seem to be providing too much capability. So without further ado, we're going to assemble this. So while it's okay to put one on top of the other, it's a whole lot better to be able to be manipulated up on top. So we're going to kind of, you'll see what I'm saying here in just a second, and I can show you better than I can actually talk about it. So we're going to get this kind of like it's supposed to go. I've got some issues here in the front. These little wires that are coming out here are supposed to be pipes. They go into the mechanism somewhere. I'm going to check on that right now because I don't want to spend all my time spinning my wheels getting them to be somewhere that they're not. So they look like they go up here somewhere. I don't see any holes there. I mean, I see these holes, but I know what they're for. They're for the front piece that still has to go on. So here's a front section, and these bars go in here. Maybe it goes on here somewhere. I don't see that. But that's the other thing that has to go on here too, is we got to make sure that goes in there. We can't fasten this together until we do. We're just looking here now for fit, and just see if it'll fit. And it looks like it does. Right, this goes all the way up to the top here. Right, sitting in there, very nice. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and figure out where these go, and we'll worry about that later. And I'm going to go ahead and button this up, and then we'll start on the electronics, testing everything out. So I'm about 90% of the way getting it all buttoned up here, and as I'm getting ready to put all the little gingerbread pieces on and put the last braces and screws and whatnot on it, I said, hey, maybe I better test this and see whether or not it's going to work. So let's do a short. We're going to do a DC test first, and then I've got some changes I want to make to the DCC chip. So this should be working under DC. Let's see what we got. 2 volts, 3 volts. Oh, she's alive. That's good news. We get to 9 volts. Perfect. So we don't have any whistles, no bells. We're going to do that here in just a second. I want to reverse this. That was in reverse. The red goes on the right side, black on the left side for it. And here we go. Again, test 10 volts. Oop, we got something's not picking up somewhere. There we go. And there we go. Okay, so we're good for that, and I'm going to hook up the DCC and be right back. Okay, so almost done here. We got a little hitch in the giddy up in the back end. I won't show it to you, but it's not down seated all the way, so we'll work on that. But I just wanted to show you I finished the oh, nice little top there opens up. Anyways, finished the programming of this, and so this is analog mode, and I'm increasing the voltage here on it. I've got a bench power supply which provides very, very smooth voltage. I'm going to go up to 5 volts. It's supposed to start, and you'll hear it start here. It's not 5.5, 6 volts, about 6.2. It comes on. There we are at 6.5. And you can hear that. You can't really see the light, but the light is on, which is good. You can hear the dynamo, which is the really high pitch. Well, maybe you can't. I don't know. Depends on what's coming through the earphone and the net. All right, and we're going to go up to 8.2, and the bell starts automatically. We get some steam coming in. 8 volts, 9 volts. A nice, slow, steady. You can kind of see down here the rods going in and out, which tells you that the wheels are going around. You can't really see that. 12 volts. And then we're just going to go back down, 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 down. We get to about 9 volts. We get wheel squeal, which is really cool. And then eventually blows out. Okay. And back below 6 volts, and then it cuts out altogether. So I feel really good about this. This is the end of this video. We're ready to call the customer and tell them come pick it up. We'll have an interesting discussion with them about it. I'm sure we'll have oohs and ahs. And that's what we expect here at the Train Buddy Shop. Thanks for being with me. Bye. So we ended the G-Scale install, and when the customer came, a couple of things happened. One of them was that there were no whistles, and so if you noticed in the video, there were no whistles. So what we did was we had to make a phone call to our friends at Soundtrax, and they led us to the solution here, which as you see here on the screen, one of the things that shows up is next to the bottom you see motor speed step deadband. Well, the motor speed step deadband is normally 0, and if we can switch over to the actual documentation, it says here that it's used to determine the speed step at which the voltage at first applied to the motor output to put the locomotive into motion. Well, and as you see on the screen, it says, you know, it's reserved, or its normal step is 0. Let's see if see it down here. It says default value is 0. So we had made it to 3, changed it to 3, as you see here, and that gave it time. It gave the system time and the locomotive time to do the analog sound. So if we go to analog controls, you'll see we've checked F0, F1, F0 forward and reverse, and that's for the light. So in analog mode, it's always on. And F24 here was in fact, the smoke unit. So in analog mode, the smoke unit is on, but remember there was a switch in the front that allowed it to go on and off that way. If you're using it in digital mode, then you can do F24 to turn on and off the smoke unit, and again, the switch on the front has to be there. You'll also see these automatic effects, FWDD, reverse D, reverse DS, etc. And those automatic effects have to do with this, with the sound for the whistles. So in the U.S., our whistles, our standard whistle is 2 to go forward, 2 shorts for forward, 3 shorts to go in reverse, and 1 short for stop. So that's the automated capability in analog. And we can look here and see auxiliary whistle select with short whistle, etc., enabling all kinds of things like air compressors and whatnot. Anyways, so that concludes this. I just wanted to finish up with those little pieces in case you were following along and wanted to do the same thing with your locomotive. Thanks for watching.